The headlines this morning: Anambra Governor Soludo celebrates Chief Okonkwo's wife at birthday. Ashia CEO Onyemechi promises continuous improved service delivery. Our federal government to develop modular refinery. At the foreign scene this morning, 2 Rohingya community leaders killed in Bangladesh. Before the news in detail, here is a special message. Governor Chukwuma Soludo has come for a total turnaround maintenance of the Anambra State economy and promotion of core Igbo values. Let's give him maximum support for the task ahead. Good morning and welcome to the news. I am Ebere Ugonna. Governor Chukwuma Soludo has congratulated the executive chairman of Poco Bros West Africa Limited, Chief Paul Okonkwo, who just clocked 80 years, as well as his wife, Florence, who attained 60 years. The governor celebrated the couple during a Thanksgiving Mass held in their honor. A.G. Kabana, ABS Government House correspondent, reports.
The Mass was celebrated by Peter Cardinal Opaleke at Basilica of the Most Holy Trinity Cathedral, Onitsha. Governor Soludo said that such an attainment called for celebration of an impactful life, recalling the Anambra burial law, whose essence is to cut waste and celebrate life more abundantly. He cast his mind back to thousands of Indian Anambra who are displaced by flood and are quartered into various camps, pointing out that while government is doing their best, public-spirited individuals should rise up and visit them.
There are people that the state government is doing its utmost best for the last 2 weeks to make sure and my young public-spirited individuals, the church and so on, when
in a homily, the Bishop of Nnewi Diocese, Most Reverend Jonas Benson Okoye, attested to Chief Okonkwo's charitability and kindness to others. Bishop Okoye lamented that there are sadly many people in all facets of human endeavor who are not contented with God's gift to them, let alone serve him with them. Appreciating Chief Okonkwo's wife for always playing the supportive role, Chief Okonkwo, who expressed happiness that God allowed him to attain age 80, asking God to bless the people for celebrating him.
Anambra East Local Government Area has begun sensitization programs on female genital mutilation, sex education, early child marriage, importance of education, and skills acquisition for victims of flood disaster at the holding centers at Udabo Umweri. The program, which will cut across all the 11 holding centers in the local government area, is one of the 3 action plans by the local government initiated to empower women and girls by providing them with necessary information and knowledge not within their reach and how they could better their lives and that of their communities. Correspondent Emmanuel Chibata completes this report.
Last month, people affected by flood disaster in Anambra and other parts of the country left their homes to various holding centers for shelter because the flood disaster, which is comparable to the 2012 flood, had caused human displacement, livelihood disruption, and infrastructural damage. According to the Transition Committee Chairman of Anambra East Local Government Area, Dr. Anselm Onora, everything humanly possible is being done to provide minimum comfort for the victims, adding that the program is part of the creative initiative to engage the people meaningfully while at the holding centers. Appreciating Governor Chukwuma Soludo for his wonderful encouragement so far, Dr. Onora called for stakeholder support in view of lessening the plight of those affected by floods, while saying that the program will go a long way in encouraging them.
To achieve those things we still want to achieve with genital mutilation. So encourage our people to already they are keen into the program, as you can see the turnout of the people, and this is going to go across the campus. It's part of creative initiative to engage the people meaningfully, even while they are the holding camps.
The Africa Child Social Empowerment Center, a non-governmental organization, consulted for the program led by its executive director, Ms. Chisom Ukwoma, discouraged the female genital mutilation practices, teenage pregnancies, and early child marriage because of its psychological problems and other effects on the women, while educating them on the importance of education and skills acquisition for the betterment of their lives.
There's no reason why any child should be deprived of education. Even if you are not academically inclined, at least have an SSC certificate, then get a hand job, get a skill. It will help you, right, to reduce the vicious cycle of poverty.
The Udabo Umweri Center Manager, Mrs. Ngozi Udozo, and a flood-affected person, Mrs. Chiamaka Okafor, appreciated organizers of the program for the empowerment. Meanwhile, the Anambra East Transition Committee Chairman, Dr. Honora, later inaugurated the Anambra East Clean and Green Initiative Enforcement Team to educate, sensitize, and enforce the people in the region to ensure a clean and healthy environment. According to him, the local government has three main focus in the environment drawn from Governor Soludo's manifesto in grassroots environmental management, namely waste evacuation, green areas, and turning waste to wealth. On his part, the coordinator of the Clean and Green Environment team, Mr. Sylvester Obiora, assured that his team will work in line with the mandate given to them for a clean and healthy environment.
We'll be expecting to have a very clean and serene environment in line with the mandate given to the enforcement team to ensure that every place within the axis will be kept clean.
Emmanuel Shibata for ABS News.
The Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Anambra State Health Insurance Agency, ASHA, Dr. Simeon Onyemechi, says the agency will continue to explore innovative ways to serve their enrollees better at all times. Dr. Onyemechi stated this during a sensitization roadshow in some streets and markets in Awka. Correspondent Chibuza Okoye has details.
As Christmas is approaching, instead of buying a 50 kg bag of rice for anybody, it is time to reduce it by 25 kg for the person and then use the balance to pay health insurance for this person.
Speaking during the roadshow, the ASHA boss noted that it was meant to advocate and sensitize the Anambra about the scheme, particularly the shuttle bus drivers and tricycle riders who were recently given free health insurance premium by the Anambra state government. Dr. Onyemechi maintained that in line with Governor Chuma Soludo's health policy for the Anambra, the agency will continue to cross-fertilize ideas with all the critical stakeholders as well as the ASHA beneficiaries on the best ways to serve them better. He made it clear that the scheme, which has become a reference point in Nigeria and a thing of pride to the Anambra, will continue to live up to its mandate of ensuring affordable and accessible healthcare delivery at ease across the state without out-of-pocket spending.
The era where people will have to spend money out of pocket, humongous sums, looking for who to borrow money from and what have you, to pay hospital bills, that era is gone. That with just 12,000 naira per person, you can be enrolled in Anambra State Health Insurance Agency, and then whether it is surgical conditions, whether it's a woman who is still in reproductive age, going for antenatal delivery, including surgery, cesarean section and what have you, that all of this is covered. The Anambra State government has made this possible, and it behoves on our people to embrace the scheme.
The Abia State Health Insurance team, who were on an understudy visit to ASHA, also joined the roadshow to get a first-hand experience on how ASHA runs their quarterly roadshow so that they can replicate same in their state for enhanced service delivery. Two members of Abia State delegations, Messrs. Daniel Onoha and Ihem Machikode, described ASHA as an excellent scheme to uplift the health indices of the citizenry and promised that they will replicate what they have learned during the visit in their state.
They have been wonderful from what we have seen on the ground, ranging from the different departments and the modes of operations. They have been doing excellently well, and that is why we want now to look at this model and then be able to replicate it in Abia State Health Insurance Agency.
Anambra Health Insurance Agency, in fact, I am impressed with what I am seeing. As we were moving from department to department, we saw that they are really on ground, registering a lot of people. Testimonies abound of what they've been doing. And we're on the field here. And I've also interviewed people, independently, and they're saying that, now farmer Asha no Ebenine, you know, and stuff like that. So I'm impressed generally. So we are going home with, you know, great expectation that we are going to replicate what is happening here.
Earlier, the ASHA management had interfaced with the desk officers of accredited ASHA healthcare providers in Anambra. The meeting provided an opportunity for ASHA management to exchange views with the accredited healthcare providers on how best to improve the services of the scheme. According to Dr. Onyemechi, the meeting was also to resolve and trash out loopholes created by the providers and complaints by enrollees against some healthcare providers in order to serve the enrollees better. In Oka, this is Chibuzo Okoye for ABS News.
All 2 books on the origin of Ndibo have been launched by an Anglican priest, Reverend Canon Charles Ekwoza. The book centers on the origin of Ndibo using biblical narrative. Correspondent Kanechukwu Chukwudi has more.
To the glory of God and to the advancement of Ndibo. To God be the glory.
The books, titled The Origin of Ndibo, Exploring New Perspectives in Tracing the Black Jews of Africa and Replacing Faulty Ideologies, a redefinition of the concept of Omenani using biblical and theological principles, have been launched in Oka. The books explored and linked the worldview of the origins of Ndibo through biblical narrative. Reverend Canon Ekwozo of the Diocese of Panshin told the ABS that his early life exposure to books relating to Igbo history, especially after the Nigerian Biafra Civil War, prompted him to go deep into research using new approaches to tell the origin of Ndibo.
I have, since a child, I've been reading about the Igbo people, more especially after the Civil War. And that actually made me to begin to think who I am as a person. And that actually moved me up. I didn't get to know what I'm doing now until I went into to do works on theology, which is the basis of life. In that process, I decided to ask myself, who am I? Ndibo. And I started reading legendary books written by scholars.
In every part of Nigeria, you see an Igbo man. Not just in the building houses, investing in the people and the environment. So when we talk about Igbo man, he is a true African, a true Nigerian, a true citizen of the world. We only need the encouragement from our friends across the country, and just as we are appreciated all over the world. So we want to thank you for your contributions, especially those who are mentoring our brother. Thank you for your interest. When it comes to our culture, church, Christian church, divested culture, made us believe that our practices, I can just explain the principles. We are more prayerful, and the idea of Kola on our second burial and everything predated the arrival of Christianity in our country and predated the arrival of the United States. So when we get it, it is parallel to Christianity when we get it from the same way Christianity came from.
The chief launcher of the books, Chief Nathan Obatwe, represented by his brother Ifeanyi Obatwe, noted that every Igbo man should be proud of their race, and knowing their origin and root is important in appreciating their story better, of which the books are of immense benefits, and commended the author for his academic-rich research. Similarly, the traditional ruler of Umuawolo, Igwe Joel Egwuonwu, and the chairman, governing board, Anambra State Waste Management Authority, Dr. Ima Ezenwaji, thanked God for the accomplishment of the book through the author and noted that they will contribute to the knowledge of Igbo history, recommending the book to those who are interested in the Igbo history and origin. In Oka, it's been Kenechukwu Chukwudi for ABS News.
Moving on to our national stories now. The federal government, through the Petroleum Training Institute, PTI, has announced plans to establish a modular refinery which, when completed, will present the industry with an outstanding world-class training facility in the West African sub-region. PTI principal Dr. Henry Ademola broke the news in Abuja at the ceremony of the 50th anniversary of the institute. He noted that it will result in compelling attraction for expertise, training and know-how in refining and petrochemical operations, and thus promoting the institute as a hub of on-the-job training and also attracting business interest from operators, contractors, consultancy requisites for oil and production outfits. Ademola added that in order to provide an end-to-end fitting solution to meet the potential PPP prospects in Minet's LNG plant, PTI intends to acquire the full installation of a 200 metric tons per day LNG production plant through its PPP initiative. Listing PTI achievements, the principal said the institute offered training to the erstwhile Petroleum Equalization Fund, Nigerian APO Oil Company, and for machinists and fitters for their jobs. On the foreign scene, a mob of a dozen people hacked to death two Rohingya community leaders in Bangladesh. The security worsens in camps housing almost 1 million refugees. Bangladesh has been housing Rohingyan refugees in a vast sprawl of camps since they fled the military crackdown in Myanmar in 2017 that is now the subject of a genocide investigation at the UN's top court. The squalid settlements have seen escalating violence in recent months, with gangs trying to assert control over drug trafficking and intimidate the refugees' civilian leadership through killings and abductions. Police spokesman Farouk Ahmed said two Rohingya camp leaders were killed late on Saturday at Camp 13, calling it one of the worst attacks in recent months. In the last 3 months alone, at least 14 Rohingyas were murdered in the camps. The number of murders in the camp has increased compared to last year. And in sports news, NBA Africa and the Agents for the Development AFD have announced the official launch of the Junior NBA and AFD Basketball Experience Program in Lagos. The flagship initiative, which was introduced in Lagos in November 2021 as a pilot program, aims to use basketball as a platform to promote social inclusion and support secondary school children to become change makers in their local communities. The program's weekly basketball and life skills sessions will educate youth participants about issues including physical well-being, mental health, life skills, and healthy living. This flagship initiative, which is part of AFD and NBA Africa's larger collaboration to support basketball infrastructure in youth development across the continent, builds on the inaugural Junior NBA and AFD basketball experience launched in Zenata, Morocco in 2019. In November 2021, AFD and NBA Africa initiated a pilot phase in Lagos implemented by the International Non-Governmental Organization, DSA. And that's it on the news this morning. But remember that you can follow news and programs from any part of the world by liking our Facebook page at ABS Radio Television. Subscribe to our YouTube page at ABS Television Oka. Follow us on Instagram at ABS Radio TV. You can also log on to our website at www.absradiotv.com. Well, and just before we go this morning, a quick look at our major stories. Anambra Governor Soludo has celebrated Chief Okonkwo's wife at birthday. Osha CEO Onyemechi has promised continuous improved service delivery. The federal government is to develop modular refinery. And on the foreign scene, we brought to you that two Rohingya community leaders have been killed in Bangladesh. Well, here is a special message again. Governor Chukwuma Soludo has come for a total turnaround maintenance of the Anambra State economy and promotion of core Igbo values. Let's give him maximum support for the task ahead. And that's the size of our package this morning. Many thanks for joining the bulletin. Now I'm Berry Ugonna. Good morning. Anambra continues shortly. Please stay with us.